4 fight. I think that Wood League is actually getting a little bit more value because they have Rexar in the top lane, and the rest of the team is able to rotate mid more easily than Varian's able to rotate top. They should see it now, because he did go over the vision point. Rexar is still in the top lane, not paying too much attention to that minimap. He's getting caught out, and this should be him going down. Pretty much guaranteed, you would think. Oh yeah, especially running back in that direction. The rest of his team coming in, looking to see if they can get the save. They cannot. Solid first kill coming out from the side of Do It Right.
Holy crap, that's first blood? It's almost 10 minutes into this game. Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, normally the C and D are a little bit more bloodbathy than this, but both teams playing with a lot of respect for each other and playing a lot of respect for keeping their own heroes alive instead of killing the enemies.
Well, and we saw earlier, too, the game between the Baddest Dudes and Full Meta Jacket. They were also long periods of time before they got kills. Not quite to the 10-minute mark, but 6-7 minutes in low kill games because they were playing very macro instead of micro focused games. Much like what we've seen here. Like, we've seen some brawls, but ultimately the focus has been on maintaining elsewhere. Cocoon going out onto the Gul'dan is going to be able to get negated there from the dot damage, and Salvation's going to protect the damage from that Riptire. Varian is in a lot of trouble, though.
Yeah, I don't much like Johanna using the Blessed Shield as an engagement against the team comp that the enemy has. They've already got Rexar, possibly Junkrat, even Gul'dan for that. You really need to save a nice, solid, almost point-and-click stun to stop that Holy Word Salvation, otherwise it's going to get incredible value. Even if it just blocks a Junkrat ult, that's worth.
For sure, and they don't... I mean, they have a lot of other ways that they can negate it, whether it's a Horrify or the Concussion Mine or Misha. But you're right, like, putting that in that area to stop the Salvation provides a lot of value for them. But we're going to pop Dragon Queen now on the mid.
It's also the fastest response by far.
Yeah, for sure, because it's an instant. It's not a wind-up from the Horrify or anything like that.
And she should already be up there.
Right.
Big engagement coming out onto Kevlar. The Horrify not quite coming out, but for some reason Horrify is ridiculous in that when it goes on short cooldown, it doesn't actually go on cooldown at all. Ronin getting brought down very low. The Annihilating Spirit doing a ton of damage, but not quite able to secure any of those kills. Even the Cure ult not quite able to do it. And then finally in the back, we do see Johanna being the next to fall. Oh, not quite getting into the cinematography in time is Kira. Does get hit by the Junkrat ult, gets brought down very low, but is going to survive.
Wow. Yeah, that Kira ult had 2 heroes in the last bubble of life, you know, under 100 or so hit points, but not quite enough, even with that bonus damage when they're under half health.
Would have killed pre-patch.
Yes, for sure. Was this before? This might have actually been before the patch. No, this was this week. Never mind. No. The Baddest Dudes in Full Meta, I think, was before that patch.
Okay.
So. All right.
Just throwing out that Divine Star so the boss will get a couple of autos onto Alexstrasza.
Yeah.
Nice play.
So level 16 picked up for both teams here. Let's take a look at questing talents since there's not a lot of action going on. So Kira would have completed her quest now if this was pre-patch. But now we do have a bit of a fight. So Alexstrasza going into the Cocoon this time. And I think that, you know, the Cocoon has been a little bit early in each of these. Ravenous Spirit coming out is going to get the kill onto the Alexstrasza. They're also going to be able to engage the boss and get the kill onto Gul'dan. They're trying to finish off Johanna, which they do, and now they'll probably just turn around and get this boss since it's already beating on him.
Yeah, they might as well. Really good engagement coming out from Do It Right. Able to catch a lot of people, but especially Alexstrasza out of position. And she's a great backline healer, but if she gets jumped on, she's one of the easiest heroes in the entire game to take down.
And, you know, so what I was trying to get at with the Cocoon, so, you know, this scenario probably not so much, but a lot of the Cocoon scenarios that they've had where they've started off with the Cocoon, you know, they've been able to pop a life binder and keep that hero, you know, just fine. If they instead, you know, hold on to that Cocoon for a moment and use it when the life binder goes out, they negate the life binder entirely.
What do you think about them not pushing with boss in this case? Instead going up and just taking the free objective.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of time before the team was up. You know, so this is the safe play. What I would like to see actually is Varian on the Bruiser camp over here. You know, maybe even more than Varian, maybe even, you know, all of these people except for Anubarak. Obviously not now that the boss is done, but I think they could have picked that up pretty easily. Rather than, you know, pushing the top lane for just an extra moment here.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them actually just go onto that mid fort so that the objective would have been firing into a keep. Instead, we do have the Cocoon coming out, hitting Alexstrasza, not able to keep Kavlor alive. Does end up kind of whiffing the Lifebinder, goes out onto Emmental, even though they weren't actually injured at all. Korix, looks like they're going to go down in the back to the Annihilating Spirit. Now actually to Varian. Sailor Sky popping that Dragon Form a little bit late. Ronan is going to get the charge onto him, and Varian is going to get onto them. Maybe able to take them out. The flank Nazebo coming in, not quite able to hit with those toads, but the execution coming out from Kira is going to make that a solid 3-0 in their favor.
Yeah, and I agree. If they get that fort down early, send the shots into the wall, and then ultimately into the keep, then that gets certainly more value. I think, you know, had they picked up this Bruiser camp at the beginning of all that, then, you know, this top wall would already be down, and accomplishes much the same thing. Possibly even both of those, you know, getting the tower into the, getting the temple into the keep wall, as well as the damage up in the top. But they've got the Bruiser camp now. They're getting damage onto the wall, but it's not going to take much for them to clear it up. I mean, Gul'dan has really solid wave clear, so that's going to get taken out very quickly. We're going to see Nazebo and Varian rotate down into the bottom siege as well, but Kira having her way with a bear right now.
Phrasing.
Yeah, it's almost like what I heard about the Revenant. And if you didn't hear about that, then that's cool. We don't need to talk about that here.
All right, level 20 is about to come up for Do It Right. Would you mind checking Nazebo stacks for me, please?
Let's pull those up here. So Nazebo... Oh, I'd have to... Let's see. Nope, I have to go to
hit tab for
7. There we go.
Or that. Perfectly
175 on the nose.
It. And he is, in fact, going to pick up possibly the most overpowered level 20 in the game.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is. We have the extra life grip coming out from Anduin. A little bit of a surprise. I really like, actually, the...
Varian's Legacy?
I like Varian's Legacy. I like even the improvement to cinematography is really great. Improving it from 20 to 30% total healing.
Is it 20? I thought it was 25. 25 to 30. Yeah, it's 25.
Okay, even still.
But it also gives them that 30-ish% movement speed bonus too, which, you know, can be pretty helpful. Anytime you're putting that up, there's a reason for it, and you want to probably have that additional movement speed either to engage or disengage.
Yeah, all in all, fantastic. Level 20. I think Life Grip is maybe my least favorite pickup there, although it does synergize with this 13, letting him keep that movement speed up more often.
Right.
And both teams kind of having the gentleman's agreement to take one objective each. But this is going to favor, I think, Do It Right, because they're going to be able to push up into this bottom lane as they're doing it, because the lanes are pretty much all pushed out in their favor.
Well, not only that, but they also have the wall already down, so the shots are going right into the keep.
It looks like Wood League is now backing, with the exception of Rexar, as they're not at all going to be able to save this keep, never in a million years. And it looks like they're not even going to try and aggress particularly hard on the mid keep, so I understand the reason that they backed. They had to make sure that they didn't lose their core, but at the same time, if they could have kept a couple people, they could have been pushing top lane at the same time instead of kind of hearthing and getting no value.
Yeah, and now Rexar is in a bit of a danger spot, but he's able to hearth out just in time as
a little bit of
Kira
a
making her way there.
Kira.
Yeah.
Not quite able to get the interrupt in time.
So Varian holding the front here as we see Wood League coming into play. trying
with
to
their
get
own
back
level
onto this
20s,
point.
which we haven't talked about yet.
So yeah, so let's take a look at those. We've got that indestructible. We got the upgraded boars. Can you see them clearly enough, by the way, on your screen?
Yes, any of them that I recognize, I can identify.
Okay, fair enough. Kavlar, though, getting just demolished, not able to get the Horrify out there. Salvation does go out, but the boop coming from Junkrat pauses that, and Sailor Sky, I believe, went into a cocoon there. But now the revolving sweep coming out. Lifebinder trying to keep them alive, but they're both going down very quickly, and Mtino using that indestructible, trying to get away from this team, but I think that this is the end of the game.
Well, I just learned what the Kira level 20 upgrade does, using it to great effect in that team fight, getting like 4 different resets. It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
But,
the level 20 Kira upgrade is not only a reset of your heroic, it's a reset of all of your basic abilities.
That's pretty ridiculous. So we've got the GGs coming out. This is going to be game number 1, going in favor of Do It Right. Making the Zebo comp work. Genuinely impressed.
So there you go, Wood League. You've impressed Ectar on your Nazebo play, so good job.
Wait, what? No. Wood League lost.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Do it right. Overlays, sorry.
I was gonna say I was the div mod for both of these teams not terribly long ago. I don't think I've forgotten them that hard.
All right, we'll pop up these 12-1. Holy cow. Again, like, it didn't feel like a 12-1 game because the first half of that game there were no kills. To me, it didn't feel like a 12-1 game.
But the late game just really heavily went in favor of Do It Right.
Yeah. Once they got all those talents coming online for them. Let's see. Let's flip this over to stats now. So our next game is going to be on Volskaya Foundry. And that was picked by Wood League.
Tantrum actually putting out really significant numbers considering how not long after level 20 this game actually was. From the look of it, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they were actually winning in hero damage before 20 over their Kira, and that might be a little bit of where they were having some of their issues.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the earlier game.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get set up here for game number 2.
Alrighty, I'm going to continue watching the stream paused screen as you go ahead and get that done.
I just want to make sure, chat, because I didn't go back to look at it. I assumed that it was on the... Like, it showed the game up until the end, right? Like, I'm not crazy on that. That'd be unfortunate.
Are people saying things in the chat? Because I haven't seen anything pop up this game.
No, I don't think anybody said anything in that game. Nobody wants to talk to us. Are you crazy?
I mean, maybe.
But that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Also undiagnosed, which means I can't be crazy.
Fair enough. All right. Game number 2. So game number 2 is going to be on Volskaya Foundry.
We do have a single chat now. Hello, Bellis Cold Wine. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That would be my friend Max. Hello, Max.
I am not on a first name basis with anyone from Twitch land, so I'm not going to call you that.
That's fair. I actually know him in the real world. Works. All right, just about set up here. Oh, we're gonna see Kel'Thuzad.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I gave something away that you're gonna find out in about 30 to 60 seconds. I think I did give them their point. Look that up. So the interesting thing about this is that once it actually loads the game, there's a pop-up that shows up at the bottom left of my screen that says, "Hey, we noticed you're playing this. Do you want to stream it?" So it makes it easy, so I can just hit that button and I don't have to do anything special.
It is convenient to have a button that just does everything for you.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, want to stream Heroes of the Storm to your friends in Nexus Gaming Series. Alright, pause that, get rid of that. And fix the sound. It is really loud, too. I probably could just drop the master volume to a lower level. All right, that and then this. So
Heroes of the
Max,
Storm does have equally good customizability options, just like StarCraft 2. Blizzard's always been really good at making sure you got a lot of options to customize all of your sounds and all of your buttons and all of your images and stuff. Good on you, Blizzard.
which is great until you shut them all off because you're on an old patch.
That's true.
Let's see. Okay, good there. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask Max if there we go. It did look if the family was watching as well. So we'll have to see if he responds. But okay, I'm gonna unpause the game. Oh, I didn't send you the heroes, so you'll just have to do it visually.
Fine.
But go ahead. We've got did they change? No, Woodleague's still on the left. You're
Nope.
good.
Spawning in on the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, we have Kavlor playing Dreadlord Jaina, Korix playing the Leoric, Vicryl Skin, Cyan playing a really weird-looking Junkrat, Sailor Sky playing Purple Ana, and Emento playing Muradin.
And on the right for Do It Right, we've got Hannibal on Kel'Thuzad, Tantrum on Blaze, the Merovingi on Anduin, Ronan again on the Anubrak, and Iceman on Vala this time.
Once again, completely disappointed in the Anduin player for not Wing the ball. I'm never going to get over it, not until they fix that bug or players start doing it.
So in case, for those of you watching this later, the bug glitch, whatever you want to call it, is that Anduin, if he throws out his Divine Star, pre-opening of the gate, it gets stuck and he runs around with his sword out. So there you go.
So really big burrow charge coming out onto Emento is able to dwarf toss away. And actually, I'm genuinely impressed with the wave clear coming out from Do It Right, especially because they have the Kel'Thu freaking Zod. He's going to be a little bit slower on that wave clear until he gets all of his stacks and that extra 75% spell power. So good on them for having another high wave clear hero in the form of Vala to help make sure that they can keep up on that macro pressure. We do see the pings now coming out for that turret camp, and they're going to get Iceman and
the Merovingi.
The Merovingi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's
get
in
Vala
related...
and Anduin.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it's a reference to The Matrix.
Okay. I haven't seen The Matrix since, like, it came out on VHS.
Well, there you go. If you weren't aware, they re-released it into theaters for the 20th anniversary. But the Merovingian was the French guy, if I remember right.
Is that the third Matrix movie?
The gangster guy. Yeah, definitely third. I can't remember. I think he's in both the second and the third, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, so anyways, let's take a look at Kel'Thuzad's stacks here. Oh, that's right. I have to look at him. Well, the Concussion Mine booping Vala back pretty far away here, but nobody really in danger out of this. So let's take a look at Kel'Thuzad's stacks. What has he got?
He has a talent available. You're going to have to actually
mouse it
over it.
Yeah, 4. Yep. 4 out of 30.
A little underwhelming for this phase in the game. It's not bad, not great. He's going to get another one right there, comboing off of the jet propulsion. Really well done there. And we see one thing that's really powerful actually about Leoric is his ability to double soak. It's not super important on a map. This isn't a gigantic map, but it just gives them that additional flexibility for wave clear, and it is going to kind of allow Wood League to go ahead and start this camp a little bit faster than their opponents without losing much, if any, XP.
And they'll be able to get back onto that point to start the control point pretty easily as well. I assume before, yeah, this is still a few moments away here. But we have a Nubrak sitting on the point. And they're very much on opposite sides. I don't even know that they were in vision of each other at that moment.
Yeah, very, very much boys and girls at your first pre-high school dance. Just opposite sides of the room, not interacting at all. Trying to pretend like the others don't even exist.
So we do have Vala clearing up the siege camp up in the top lane. Hannibal as well coming up to help out with that. So that's going to give them the siege camp pressure, which should allow them to make their way onto the control point A here relatively soonish.
Yeah,
maybe.
there's a small scuffle in the bottom lane between Leo and Nubrak, but really nothing significant should happen from either of those two. Going to put a very small amount of pressure into the bottom lane, but the wall is going to clear that up with no issues. A little bit of a burrow charge coming out onto Junkrat, but follow-up damage isn't close enough to actually make anything happen with it, but it is going to allow them to flip the point in their favor.
So 50% channeled so far for Wood League. Now, checking in here, though, Anduin has basically no mana. So even though they're on the control point, this is still going to be a hard spot for them to be. There is the concussion mine there. Burrow charge in onto 2, and they have a really solid body block there onto Kavlor thanks to Cyan helping out. So they're going to get that kill onto Jaina. And they're possibly going to get the kill onto Muradin. I think Muradin was thinking, hey, you know what? I'll just get tossed out of here. But not if he gets rooted by Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, and generally is really good play coming up from the side of Do It Right. It's still early in the game, but the Kel'Thuzad pick I don't think is really doing them any favors at this point. I don't think he's hit 2 people with chains this entire game so far. He's only ever been able to combo off of other people's CC. Being able to do that is great, but not being able to set up your own kills is kind of like that's the whole reason you take Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, for sure. And he needs to get that glacial spike if he wants to be able to combo at least the individual people. And he's still a little ways from that, but maybe with now having the protector on their side, they'll be able to get those combos here.
And it looks like they're going to just take out the front wall. Never mind, they are actually going to go and try and do some damage onto this fort. Generally, this is not the play. You usually try to get into the top lane to set up the next objective and then use that to take the next objective until you can finally win the game off of it. But they are actually doing a very significant amount of damage to this fort, maybe even enough to take it down, and that'll give them a nice little trickle XP advantage.
Not only that, but it could give them catapults if they actually finish it here. They have the Anubrak beetles to help relieve the potential damage coming out from the fort, so they do get those catapults as well, and looks like they're going to rotate down. Korix is making his way out of here, though, so he should be just fine. He's got the ability to Wraith Walk out of there, even if they do catch up to him.
And because he was split soaking that whole time, there's actually no XP advantage to speak of for Do It Right, even after having won that objective. It'll start to go in their favor slowly over time, but the trickle XP advantage is actually not super high. So as long as both teams are able to keep up on the rest of their macro pretty well, it's going to be relatively even going into the rest of this game.
Well, the one value that they do have here, and this is in favor of Wood League, is that they've got some XP kind of locked down in these towers in the mid lane, because, you know, Do It Right got the XP out of those 2 towers when they took out the fort. And that's what Leoric was able to offset by soaking those lanes. But we've got a fight now coming up on this this support camp. The boop over onto Anubrak. Looks like the Muradin, though, getting interrupted out of his jump, so he's not going anywhere. Vala sitting on Jaina, taking her out, and there goes Muradin and Blaze. So unlike game 1, this one turning into a little bit more of a bloodbath.
Yeah, we're seeing now 1 kill versus 4 in total coming out, much in the favor of Do It Right, and able to actually pick up that biotic emitter, so things pretty much coming out Millhouse for them. We have the level 10s coming out now from both teams. We have the cinematography once again from Anduin, the Reign of Vengeance from Vala, Bunker Drop, a little bit of a surprise coming from Blaze. Nothing yet picked up from the rest of the members of Do It Right, and on the other side we have the Ring, we have Riptire, Nano Boost, Avatar and Entomb, pretty much everything you would expect. Oh, a little bit of a spicy pickup coming from Kelter Freaking Zod, though. Going with the ult that I can't even remember what it's called because I never see it picked up.
There you go. It's called Frost Blast.
It's called Ice Pyroblast. I don't care what it says.
Exactly.
And the Cocoon from a new brag is pretty much expected as well.
So I'm assuming the bunkers for the Riptire, because that's really the only... Unless they were going to use it like you used to see long time ago, back when bunker was a 45 or 50 second cooldown.
It came out instantly, and you could get at it instantly.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were able to use it as even as a siege tool. You just go and you drop it in front of a fort, you burn it down, and then you walk away. So maybe they're looking at that. But Jet Propulsion followed up by the Chastise and a huge root from Kel'Thuzad. Able to finish off the Muradin thanks to that as well. And by the way, Junkrat's sitting here in a cocoon, so with a good stun, they should be able to take him out as well. And significant combo. The Glacial Spike, I showed that earlier there, that Kel'Thuzad had that. Let's check in now. He's sitting at 20 stacks. So definitely getting some extra bonus out of that fight there.
Yeah, and I really like this call coming out from Do It Right. One, the objective. Now they're soaking mid, they're soaking top, taking top, and also channeling all at the same time. They could maybe even afford to send someone down to take their turret camp and then just probably keep like a Nubrak or someone that can disengage really easily on the point. But getting that extra item advantage is always really fantastic. A little bit of a dive coming out onto Kavlar, but missing the follow-up stun. Hitting the follow-up stun, however. But that should not be anything too significant coming out onto Kavlar. Iceman gets brought down actually very low. Riptire's coming out. Let's see if he can use the Impale to keep him from getting in there. Is able to not get away. And
I thought he was safe.
Yeah. And Tantrum getting hit is able to drop the bunker now. Just barely gets it down in time, but it's... Okay. It looked like he was actually going to go in after that with that stun. But
yeah, I think that was his plan because he had no health and trying to escape from a Junkrat in a narrow corridor like that. It was not going to happen.
Yeah, but because Anduin mostly just stayed there the whole time, that's almost 90% channeled in the favor of Do It Right, and they're going to go ahead and pick up their item. Looks like they're even considering invading on their opponent's item. They'll have to get someone else in there to make sure that they have someone to actually pick it up. But this is going to get spotted out pretty much immediately. It's a 3-for-3 going on here. We do have additional members of both sides rotating in there. But without having a tank there, it's a little bit hard for Woodleague to actually come in here and try to take this positioning. And the giant Chastise coming out onto Junkrat, and the Total Mayhem not able to get any value, and that's going to be a really free kill, actually, coming out from the side of Do It Right, and they should be able to make it up to the top point in time, flip this, and parlay that into some really solid damage.
So the question is does Leoric end up dying here? We've got the Glacial Spike down to block, presumably for essentially a wall, a body block there. Cocoon was going out onto Ana to keep the rest of Woodleague here away from the point. And
we do have Junkrat just coming up now, but it looks like Woodleague is... Looked like they thought about trying to go for a defense, but just not quite able to get there in time. And this is going to be the second objective of the game, going over in favor of Do It Right.
And they're looking pretty strong here. 8 kills to 3.
Once again, opting to do damage into a lane other than where the next objective spawns. But I think they've got a strong enough position here that they might just be able to kind of force this keep down. And if so, that's worth more than... We actually have the Frost Blast going out onto Jaina. Jaina not having the improved Ice Block yet to keep her alive, and that's a really solid Kel'Thuzad combo coming out. I guess if you can't land your E's, R is a point-and-click route.
That is true, exactly. And I think that's probably why they took that, right? To have the additional lockdown. We do see that Salvation going out for, I guess, the healing. But this is going to be a keep going down for... Do It Right. So looking, again, very strong here. The pull on Tavala to keep her away and out of that Entomb. Nice and safe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trade-up as far as cooldown timing, but with as far behind now as Woodleague is starting to get, not getting that kill is worse for them than even just trading up in cooldowns. And it looks like we now have Do It Right rotating down so that they can not only save their fort, but put pressure into the other fort, just kind of abandoning the Triglav for the last ish 15 seconds of its life. And now they're up level 16, and if they push in for this bottom fort, especially if they decide to commit a turret or something, I don't think there's much that Wood League can do about it.
But at least right now, that doesn't look like what they're going to do. They don't really have the vision onto the rest of the enemy team there, so they're going to instead come up to the support camp here. Let's check in on Kel'Thuzad stacks. How's he doing? 28, 29 or so? 28. Let's see. What is... Oh, it is on their vision. Oh, holy cow. Okay. I was going to say, let's see what their vision looks like, but we're already looking at the vision. So we see, they can only see the Leoric and Junkrat on the map there. Now they see 4 heroes there, and Ana, of course, being a little bit farther behind, so...
I said it 20 seconds ago, I'd still like to see them try to force this bottom fort. Even if they have to commit a turret to it, it's going to be worth it. It'll set them up really nicely for the next objective. And at this point, they can see Leoric in the top lane and know that it's a 5v4, and there goes the stun into stun into stun into death coming out onto Junkrat. But the gigantic Ring of Frost taking down a Nubrak and not quite able to get the cinematography out in time to save him is able to top up the rest of the team pretty well, and there goes the Biotic Emitter as well. But actually, there's a Biotic Emitter that got dropped by Nubrak as well. That's a really big turnaround coming out from Wood League.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. And they've already got this bottom fort pretty much down. I mean, it's going to take them no time at all to finish this, as Do It Right pulling back to get onto their siege camp and keep that pressure in the top lane where they've already got constant catapult pressure. They may even go get their aggressive siege camp.
I do not like that call. I think they could have defended that fort 4 versus 4, opting to take that siege camp in a lane that already is getting pushed out that far. I'm not a huge fan of. Junkrat will be able to clear this up before the next objective. And yeah, getting camps is great for experience, but it doesn't do anything other than get taken by them.
Yeah, the only thing that it's really going to provide them is that they could have some pressure there in the top lane. But I mean, it's not during the control point, so it really doesn't matter.
It does mean that they can now see a whole bunch of people in the top lane. They could once again try to force this bottom fort. And it looks like that's what they're starting to do, but they're not willing to commit to go in too hard on this wall. You're level 18. Walls are not scary anymore.
Yeah, and I think they were waiting for the Nubrak here, which he's back in. And Leoric does have the damage reduction talent, but Korik's taking so much damage there. Here comes the Riptire. There's that salvation, but the Riptire actually falls before it even gets there. Ring of Frost hits 2, and these squishy targets there, Iceman getting knocked in and is gone. The Ice Pyro, though, onto Jaina, and Jaina getting the Nano Boost now is trying to get that Frostbolt damage going out. Leap of Faith coming out onto Hannibal, pulling him to safety, and big chain from Kel'Thuzad there, able to get onto the Jaina and Muradin, so stacks complete.
It was a 1-for-1, but this is, I feel, going to favor Wood League because they have a Leoric that died, and there goes the gigantic 2-person Entomb, the jump coming out onto Hannibal, and they're going to go down. Bunker was dropped to get Blaze out of there, but he gets body blocked actually by Muradin, is getting stunned by the Stormbolt, does drop his turret, so he's not going to turn that over to the enemy team, but that is the power of Leoric's trait value. I would love to see someone get onto that point and have the rest of the members take the camp there, and that's exactly what we're seeing have happen. That's going to set them up really good trying to defend this turn-in. Their opponents will get 20 before they're going to come back in for this next point fight, but at least they're going to have a couple of items on the side of Wood League to try and mitigate that advantage.
I'm surprised we did see the danger ping at the support camp there, but we're not seeing either. Well, I was going to say we're not seeing either team, but actually now we are seeing Wood League head up that direction. Do It Right coming down here, getting onto the point. Lyric able to walk away and hold that channel for just a few extra moments because of that.
And we do actually have... I'm surprised Wood League is the team that's actually going to be able to pick this camp up. They're now going to have... They need to actually rotate Jaina or someone up here to pick that item up. And that's what we do see have. It's good on them to have the presence of mind to recognize that they didn't have the hands to carry that. And Korik's going in there and taking a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure Wraithwalk is down again, and that is going to be the kill. The Entomb comes out, hits 2, but there's no follow-up whatsoever. We have the Ice Pyroblast comes in, and... What did you pick up? You picked up... Ana actually picked up the anti-stun talent. a little bit surprised. I would really like to have seen the removal of slows and roots, considering they're playing against a Kel'Thuzad and even a Blaze. Although they also have an Anubarak, so lots of CC.
Yeah, they have
from
a
the
lot
side
of stuns. Yeah. They have a lot of both, but that stun 50 armor is pretty positive. But Jaina goes into the cocoon here. It's going to be Sailor Sky getting dropped. Big, massive root, hitting everybody on the side of Do It Right. I think Vala maybe not. But Mtano is in a lot of danger here, taking loads of damage from that Death and Decay, is going to fall. They did get the kill onto the Anubarak, though, and Kevlar was trying to catch up to Tantrum, finish off that Blaze, but not quite able to do it.
Korix comes back in, and with the level 20 upgrade, not going to be able to drop the bunker to try and keep himself alive. Even it was on cooldown anyhow. And he's going to actually go in onto Kel'Thuzad, and it's going to be a little bit hard for Kel'Thuzad to actually deal with someone that's able to get on him and keep him slowed like that.
And you know, this is the point where you're going to have problems as Do It Right now, because now that you're level 20, the additional nano boost giving the heals, the cooldown reduction on Riptire, and a lot of times you're going to see these heroes are clumped together over these control points. But most importantly, the Buried Alive out of Leoric. I mean, Buried Alive is, at this point, with the way that the game has changed, as far as the experience and the way that the minions and forts are set up now, Buried Alive is just a game-ending talent. Because the death timers are so very long, locking people down for 4 seconds or so. What is it? 4 seconds? 3 seconds? 4 seconds.
It's 3 after buried alive, because it reduces the duration by 1, but adds the silence damage.
Yeah. So 3 seconds of just sit there and do absolutely nothing is huge, and it can be, you know, 1 person. It could be 5 people. So we'll see. I've personally seen so many games ended on Volskaya Foundry because Leoric comes in with an Entomb and wins the game, even if they were losing. And we're going to see a lot of that going on now as Ultimate's just being used all over the place. Cocoon was out, the Pyroblast Ice version coming out. The bottom keep is still at about half health, but Vala and Anubarak just being taken out here. And now the damage onto Blaze, we see the jump in from Muradin trying to get on there. The double Death and Decay coming from Kel'Thuzad, and you know, don't count them out yet, because Kel'Thuzad could still get massive combos, but only if he actually hits with those Death and Decays.
And Anduin is the person that you want the least to be in that Buried Alive if you are Do It Right, as he's the only one that he can't pull himself out of danger.
And it's looking like they do get the kill onto Leoric, but it's looking like they're going to be able to Woodleague's going to be able to finish off this core as the Ring of Frost manages to catch Kel'Thuzad. That feels awkward, huh?
Yeah, if he could have made that defense, you actually see the other cores also falling, so a very close game number 2 coming out, but going in favor of Woodleague, and we've got ourselves a game number 3 on our hands.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because that's... I said it earlier, I can't tell you the number of games, partially because I just don't remember, but so many games I've seen either on my team, like where we have Leoric, or against my team where they have Leoric, where you can be winning that entire game, because really Do It Right was ahead for almost that entire game. They had that keep down from the second objective. They got both objectives, and you can be winning that entire game, and then you lose one team fight at the end, and Leoric really sets that up for you. When you get to level 20, that 20 spike for Leoric is probably, in my opinion, as impactful or maybe even more impactful than Nazebo.
In a coordinated setting like NGS, definitely.
Right, yeah. Let's see, so that was won by blue team. All right, so I am not able to pull up the third game, so I don't know who wins it. Or not who wins it, who selected it. But I can pull up what map it is. I just need a minute, because I gotta get back into the game, because it disconnects me every time. Such a wonderful system. Doesn't Blizzard know that they need to cater to my needs? You okay over there, Ectar? Ectar? Seem to have lost Ectar. Well, that's okay. We'll give him a moment to return. Maybe it's on my side.
What do you say? Ready to have a little fun?
All right, and thanks Move37 for the follow. Welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. If you'd like to see other casts by yours truly, Aero, feel free to stop over to twitch.tv/Aero of the Storm, which is my normal casting page. And that's where you'll see all kinds of live casts. We seem to be lost. Let's try let's try resetting this. Oh, so it's authenticating. Interesting. Okay. So give us just a moment. We seem to be having difficulties. I'm going to put us on just a quick 2-minute break, so we'll be back in just a moment, okay? As soon as I find the right page. There we go. All right, welcome back, everybody. We fixed our problems, or at least the ones related to Discord.
Some problems require heavy doses of medication.
Indeed. So we're gonna, again, I can't look up who selected this map, but the third map of the game here is going to be Towers of Doom. Dun dun dun. And Ectar, you were mentioning earlier that you rather like this map.
Yeah, It's the only one that didn't get affected by the XP changes.
Is that the only reason you like this map?
No, it's also a good map for the Lost Vikings. It's the map where you have to be winning the longest to actually win the game. A lot of good reasons to like this map.
I like this map because it's one of the few maps where a lot of maps, if you get behind, you feel like there's not a lot that you can do to come back and win, even if you can, right? Because any map, until the game's over, you still can come back. But Towers of Doom always feels like you're not until you get 6 capped. It always feels like there's still that potential that you can come back and win the game. And so you see games where they're 32 to 1, and then the team actually comes back and wins. And those are the crazy games that you get to see. I didn't lose you again, did I? Okay.
I'm a really big fan of this map, as mentioned. And there's a lot of reasons. But that's another really good one, is you can actually come back from being behind on this map.
All right. Let's get this set up for you here. Let me know when you can see it.
Just need to find your name and click join stream. All right, I'm in.
All right, good deal. So we're aware, you guys may not be, but the teams switched sides. So as we go through this, you'll get to enjoy our time of saying the wrong team name as we call through this, but we should be okay, I think. But let's go ahead and get this started, shall we?
We shall. So we have spawning in on the left-hand side. This time we have Do It Right with Ronan playing ETC, Hannibal once again playing Leoric. I can't see your name until you stop spinning. The Merovingial.
Merovingi.
Playing Merovingi playing. I actually can't tell. Is that Anduin? That is Anduin.
It is Anduin.
Iceman playing Greymane, and Tantrum playing Nazebo.
All right.
Man, skins are hard.
Right. And on the right, we have Wood League. Kavlar on Sylvanas. Sailor Sky is on Lily. Let's see. Korix on Zool. Cyan on Gul'dan. And Emtino on Johanna. And I did send you, by the way, the screenshot of who was playing who before this so that you could have that available, just to make it easier for you.
It's true, but I didn't want to have to bring that up while having this thing open because I didn't know how Discord would like that. ETC getting the nice 2-person slide, not able to get a whole lot of follow-up damage because it was Johanna and Lily, 2 of the harder heroes on the side of
Wood League.
Do It Right. Yeah.
Wood League's on the right.
All game. Gonna mess it up all game.
Yep. So
I reckon.
So you were talking earlier about before we came back. You were talking a little bit about the strategy of what this team was looking at for Wood League here with this Zool. So go ahead and take a moment to talk about that.
Yeah, so Korix's plan for this game is to try and double soak mid and top and have the other 4 members of his team cover bottom and push into that bottom fort and make sure that they can secure these camps really well. With the 3 members up there for Do It Right, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to actually push in and get that mid lane XP, and we see Leo positioned aggressively to try and get him in rotation, but we see he gets all of the mid lane XP. He should rotate top to cover that and then rotate back down to mid again. We see both teams now coming up and taking their camps. Really well done in that regard. And Hannibal looking like they want to do a little bit of something, but he doesn't have any kill pressure at this point in the game, and using that Curse Strikes to just chunk down that mini wave, and he's going to get straight down back into mid lane. As all the exciting stuff is really going to be happening in the bottom lane this game.
Yeah, a little bit of a dance between the top and mid for the 2 up above here. Emtino is able to get a nice big condemn, but Tantrum still able to make it out there. This was the Nazebo game, right? Or the first game I think it was that had Nazebo, right? This was
the first game had Nazebo.
Yeah, okay.
It was Tantrum.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see if that works out for them again in this. ETC power sliding in onto Sailor Sky, but again, they're a little bit pressed for damage here because they're kind of relying mostly on Greymane in the early game to carry that.
We used to the Leoric actually kind of gave up on soaking mid and just instead want to try to put as much damage into Korix as possible. And he gets him down to about a third, but fountains exist, so he's going to be able to get himself back up perfectly fine, and then continue the double soaking thing that he's doing so well. And we see now that pressure coming in is already going to take the entirety of the bottom wall.
Yep, and the rotation down from mid a little bit late to save anything here is going to push the team back. But now we're going to have this triple altar phase coming up. Of course, the first triple altar phase, the next one coming the 5th round. And Ectar, you probably remember back in the day when they didn't have set triple altars. They were kind of randomized. You could have multiple.
You do still get multiple. You get the 1st and the 4th, but you could continue having them after that. Yes, I do remember. We see the gentleman's let's both take our own top and then go back to soaking, but the real meat and potatoes is happening down here in the bottom lane. Big 3-person slide coming out from ETC, but once again, just no follow-up coming out from Do It Right.
So the zombie wall there dropped immediately. Kavler pulling out with that Haunting Wave, and Emtino as well did get stunned here, but Korix doesn't have all the talents he needs to be able to survive a 1v4 at this point, and is going to end up being the first kill of the game.
Yeah, and that's actually really bad for Wood League, because there's their soak engine.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to give now Leoric the opportunity to get a little bit ahead, and they're already a little bit ahead, about a third of a level ahead roughly for Do It Right.
Yeah, and a lot of that's just going to come down to the fact that they got a kill.
Well, and specifically that kill, right?
Yes. They will be able to catch up a little bit as soon as Zul's able to get to the top lane and equalize that XP by just a little bit. But yeah, we now have the earlier level 7s coming in for the side of Do It Right. Good little zoning wall coming up from Nazebo, but no one was going to try and aggress in onto them, so a little bit of a wasted cooldown. We just once again see the Toad build coming out from Nazebo, which is pretty much the standard. You almost always see that.
And also Blood Ritual again.
Yeah, I'm going to continue not being a fan of that, even if it worked the first time.
So we do have Merc Queen picked up here for Sylvanas, so these Pumpkin Sappers going to do a whole lot more damage if they can actually make it through. Those 3 Pumpkin Sappers will do about 60% or so of the health of the tower.
Yeah, and having Sylvanas in a comp like this is actually incredible for Wood League, because she facilitates so much ability to do damage into buildings, which is what you're looking to do. Especially on this map, again, because you can kind of just hold the bottom lane forever and just get a ton of value being able to get objectives both kind of mid and kind of bottom. So that's why the strategy works so well, is you're able to just hold that point and keep it for hopefully the rest of the game. But even when you don't, you have Sylvanas to just kind of take it back.
So we did see ETC go back there earlier. They're not really in a position that they're going to be able to stall this out, so Sailor Sky is going to be able to channel that, get 4 more points, and equalize the damage onto the cores here. So ETC's zoning out the Zul, though, who came down and getting rooted there. Now with the Johanna slowing him down a little bit, but he's able to power slide away to safety. But Cyan, maybe not so much, as Greymane is able to finish off the kill onto that Gul'dan.
Yeah, and once again, we actually have Korix down in the bottom lane trying to see if they can get the counter kill onto Tantrum. Isn't going to be able to happen, though, as Anduin is able to put out just a few too many healing numbers. Was Harthing, I believe he stopped to continue to esports with the rest of his team, but looks like he's going to go back now because he's very low on mana. Probably has about 1 Q left in him.
So we're going to see Zul rotating back up here. There's a pretty significant wave here in the middle for him to clean up. And we do see, again, the auto attack, I guess, kind of Curse Strikes build for Zul. But the power slide over here is not going to be, or I'm sorry, the root was not going to be enough to save the Zul, as he does get the power slide. Level 10 is now available for Do It Right.
Yeah, and once again, with that kill going down, we see the disruption in the plan for Wood League. They have to go to the top lane as a group instead of pushing down in the bottom lane where they've already got that fort halfway down. I would like to see them take this camp because they're already here and they have a Sylvanas with Mercenary Queen, but deciding that they don't have enough time to do that, even if I tend to disagree with them, and instead just going to go down into the bottom lane, take that 10 versus 10 fight. We do once again have the Ravenous Spirit coming out from Nazebo. We have Light Bomb making its first appearance in this series. Cursed Bullet Entomb once again, and ETC is holding ult. I would still expect to see Mosh Pit. And on the other side, we have the Wailing Arrow, the Blessed Shield, the Skeletal Mages, Horrify, and Jug of a Thousand Cups? Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I agree we're going to see the Mosh Pit, but they instantly blow up the Zool there. Don't even need a Mosh Pit. Blessed Shield going out, and Iceman pulling out. Mosh Pit going out onto the Johanna and Lily, so we may be able to see a kill out of this, maybe? Possibly?
I really like that zombie wall coming out to stop Emento from running back to his team. Did end up working a little bit against them as Leoric was trapped on the other side of that zombie wall, but a Leo for Johanna is pretty much always a good trade.
Well, and they got the Lily, too.
Yeah,
so,
Lily was great.
Yeah, big value there from that play, and Leo able to kind of sit back there and keep the Sylvanas and Gul'dan busy as well. So, and here, speaking of Leo, big Entomb, Kavlor is able to Haunting Wave out of there. Hannibal's trying to catch up, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
No, that was a little bit of a hopeful play coming out from Hannibal, trying to chase down that Sylvanas, but actually able to get the first tower for the side of Do It Right. They're parlaying their superior team fight into a macro advantage instead of Wood League's plan of using their superior macro to take a team fight advantage.
Indeed, and Wood League does have pretty solid wave clear with the Sylvanas and Gul'dan, so I mean they can clear up the bottom lane, pretty decently. But there's still a Leoric and a Nazeebo, although Leoric's not here. Nazeebo and Greymane though can clear those waves pretty quickly, so this is not going to be easy for Wood League to push into and get this tower down. They're going to need to make use of something like a Horrify, but instead, it's going to be Light Bomb, Power Slide, Unstoppable used, and the pullback onto ETC to keep him safe as he went rather deep into the death zone there.
I'm amazed nobody died in that. That was a huge play coming out from Ronin with the follow-up from Anduin doing really well as well. ETC is going to go down. Wailing Arrow hits, not able to Power Slide himself into safety. But we have the objective now coming up, and even if they trade evenly, they're going Wood League is going to trade down because they're down one building.
And so far that looks to be what's going to happen as both teams send their solo laners to pick up the altars. Getting a little bit of damage here from the team onto the bottom fort, bottom structure here. So, but there's no minion. There's no minion wave here because the minion wave just keeps getting cleared out by the Nazeebo. And until they can get in close enough to the tower to make use of black arrows, or like this, have the minion wave there to help. It looks like they're actually going to be able to do this now and bring down this fort thanks to that Sylvanas black arrow.
And we do have a little bit of a gank coming out now onto Zool in the mid lane. It doesn't take a whole lot because ETC is not the world's best single target gank. But we do now have Zool is getting back into his rhythm of going mid-bot, and we see both teams now taking out their camps, which should actually favor Wood League because they've got a little bit more macro pressure with their 4-man. And hopefully we'll finally be able to see them push in and take out that bottom fort. But all the ultimates are up for both sides, and I think the team fighting has clearly at this point favored Do It Right.
Yeah, I agree. And the score seems to reflect that currently, 29-23. These Pumpkin Sappers, though, again, with the Merc Queen, get additional damage, so they are doing quite a bit of damage to their friends there, their Pumpkin Sapper brethren. But here comes Leoric. Expect to see that Entomb here pretty soon. We're going to see that light bomb.
Missed Horrify in the back lane. Kavlor gets brought down really low and is getting chased down, but a huge two-person mosh pit with the Ravenous Spirit just wailing on them on top of it is going to take out the first two heroes. The counter kill coming out onto Greymane, but that's still a significant 2-for-1 with very low health bars coming out from the red team. Yeah, and in that whole thing, Nazeebo finished his Plague of Toads quests, so...
And that is a huge boost here as well for Do It Right, getting the additional 2 Toads. When you add that onto the Toads of Hugeness, the damage potential is just phenomenal.
66.6% repeating more Toads.
That's like twice as much as the chances for Leroy Jenkins' team.
That is an old meme, but it checks out.
So we do see 2 altars being picked up by Do It Right, but with that, they're coming in here. They don't even care that they don't have Greymane. They're going straight for the points. The stall coming out from Gul'dan, tons of damage going out onto Nazeebo, and Hannibal deep into this team trying to do what he can to stay alive. But that was a very... Oh my goodness, are they going to get the kill onto Cyan? There's nothing for him to drain life. Lili doing absolutely everything, and it's just enough to keep Gul'dan alive.
Don't worry, Emento. We didn't see that completely whiffed Bless Shield. No one saw that.
For what it's worth, I didn't. I was busy drooling over the dead Gul'dan.
Yeah, well, it's hard to drool over something that doesn't exist.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It existed in my mind. Leave me alone.
I do like the camp being taken up here from the side of Wood League. There we go. Temporary lapse once again, as this is going to help Korix to put some additional damage in on that top lane. And we have now the defense coming out from the side of Wood League and the bottom fort, taking about half of the damage on it, but not able to finish that out. We do see the aggressive camp invade coming out from the side of Do It Right, and it's spotted out by Johanna. But it looks like they are not going to defend the camp. They're actually going to try and take the team fight on the other hand side, and the really big fear coming out onto Nazeebo, but the counter mosh pit and just ultimates being popped everywhere. Everyone hitting the R buttons, and it looks like it's definitely now going in favor of Do It Right.
Yeah, this is a absolutely just massive win for them now. They're going to be able to take this bottom tower for sure. There are 3 more points that they can pick up from their other camp. They could even start looking at other structures. They could look at the boss, or hey, look at that, 2 altars coming up, 28 seconds. Half of the team of Wood League won't even be on the map when those come out, or
I would
just
like
barely.
to see I don't hate the camp, but I would prefer to see mid fort being taken. It's the more guaranteed 2 extra shots.
Yep. And we do have the portal, right? That is up? It is up.
Yes. But I guess Do It Right just kind of saying por que no dos. Greymane's going to make the aggressive defense so that they can try to push those shots in more easily, but we do see now the members of Wood League coming into position to try to defend this mid objective. Kavlor on the wrong side of the law. ETC is going to chase them down. Nazeebo getting caught out on the other hand by Wood League. Hannibal does get the Blessed Shield thrown onto him and is going to go down. It looks like Sylvanas goes down as well, does finally get chased down by ETC and Greymane, but that is at least one channel going in favor of Wood League, but they're losing the 3 from the Pumpkin Sappers, and they're going to lose the additional 6 from the channel in the bottom lane. So it went okay for Wood League, but they need more than okay at this phase in the game.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a misplay from Do It Right. I think they could have gotten those 2 altars and saved themselves a Leoric, but you know, that's fine. I mean, they got 6 or 9 points out of it, I guess. So you know, it worked out for them pretty decently. Iceman going in after Greymane. But he gets feared into the back, into the death zone, and that's a huge loss now for Do It Right.
Yeah, that's it's an important kill. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that much off of it. Just because of how significant the wave clear is from Nazeebo is in particular. Speaking of Nazeebo, can we once again check those stacks?
Yeah, let's see. He's 2. Nope, he's 4. There we go. So 129, so a little bit lower than what you'd like to see at this stage of the game.
Yep, I would expect to see Annihilating Spirit picked up on 20 then.
So
We
6
do have
left.
Zool looking to try and take back mid-fort and put themselves into a relatively even position. And if he's able to do that, and he's not quite able to just yet, they'll put them into an almost even position coming into this objective fight, with the very notable exception of the fact that their opponents are going to have level 20 and they will not.
And that is available now here for Do It Right. And it is still Vial Infection there for the Nazeebo, so Nazeebo is going to be looking for minions. There's the Buried Alive, though. You can pretty much say goodnight to Lili, right? Right? She dies here, right?
Does
Apparently
she, though?
not. Big Horrify coming out. Instead, going to be the kill onto Hannibal. Leoric, the first to die. Follow up with the kill onto Greymane. And the Jug of 1,000 Cups coming out to keep the health bars of Wood League nice and healthy.
You know, if that was an Annihilating Spirit, it could have chased Lily down. Just saying.
Absolutely.
But for the first time in quite a while, Wood League takes a convincing win. They get bottom turned over at some point. I didn't even notice that happen.
Just
but
happened.
That's an additional 10 shots going in their favor. They're going to take boss for the 4 shots, but really they're taking boss so that their opponents can't. More than anything else.
Right. And we're going to see Do It Right heads down, picks up the bottom, or they're working on picking up the bottom fort. I guess they're not there yet.
I would like to see Wood League now head and defend this with everything that they have. Even more than this camp, it's important to keep that bottom fort alive for them, because that's just going to keep them into such a good position as this game goes on. We can see the next objective is spawning solely in the bottom lane. And they actually do get the successful camp invade, although this does give Do It Right a little bit of time to put damage out onto that bottom fort, and I think they'll not be able to turn it over quite yet. I would like to have seen the zombie wall just so they can do that extra damage. And we have Emento is positioning very aggressively, stopping Do It Right from getting into position here.
Yeah, this is really solid play, saving that bottom fort. Of course, Merc Queen doesn't help with shots on the core, but if they can find a way to get these through, that ties the game up. I don't think they'll be able to do it, though. I mean, this is a really solid defense at the line. The Wailing Arrow goes out to silence that Ravenous Spirit. So only one Pumpkin Sapper left here, but he's dotted up. He's going to be going down soon. Big silence coming out from the Leoric. That's going to be a double kill onto Sylvanas and Greymane. Zool able to get a little bit of damage out there, but not enough to get any kills here. And the altar is coming up, but with a 5 versus 3, this should be... Yeah, I was going to say, we should see a disengage from Wood League, and this should be a Do It Right altar at this point. And that puts them at remaining of 2, should they actually get it picked up here. But instead, they're coming in to pick up the Pumpkin Sappers first, which I don't actually like this call.
They might be able, if they coordinate it well, they could theoretically take bottom fort and give them that extra 1 shot.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's a little bit risky, and it doesn't mean much. It does make boss an extra win condition if they get that extra shot in, because it'll put them down to 4 instead of 5. So if they actually talked all of that out, I would be really
they're at 6.
impressed.
It's the other way.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, then that was totally not worth it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take that camp.
Yeah, they should have, if they're going to come take anything, they should have taken the tower, then gotten the camp, because that gives them the potential to win the game. But this also could, as they get the Silence and Tomb onto Johanna. Huge, is that indestructible? Yeah, it was. ETC and Greymane getting feared into the death zone again. Just an amazing horrify from
And that was
Golan.
a 5 versus 4, as the whole time Zool was pushing down top fort. And
I can't say enough about
be able
that.
to take this fort back, and yeah, just a little bit of a comedy of errors coming out from both teams from after this level 20. And Zool is going to be able to take the mid fort.
Oh my god!
I can't tell. There's too many pings happening right now. Okay, not able to take it quite yet. Although
it's still a 5v3 now.
Yeah, Sylv did go back, so they're going to be 5v4 for just a little bit. And it looks like the call is going out to try and take top fort back. And I like this camp. I liked it quite a bit. I want to see them now force down bottom fort and try to take mid fort as well.
And it looks like that's what Zool is doing, getting that lane moved forward, getting that pressure up there. Both of the altars coming in here are in the top lane. Either one of these wins the game for Do It Right, but they need both for Wood League to be able to close it out here.
Yeah, so expect to see a big team fight over this left-hand side of the map, and really whichever team wins this team fight wins the entire game. We have Ronan face-checking this bush where Emento is in fact hiding. We see Hannibal is sharking around, gets the huge 2-person silence and entomb, and that's going to be a lot of damage. That's going to be the very quick Gul'dan going down. The Mosh Pit hitting 2, it looks like, and Cavalier does get out for the time being. Emento is not so lucky, and that is the unanswered triple kill coming out from Do It Right, and this is going to be game going over in their favor as well.
Are you suggesting that Lily cannot 1v5 defend this?
I am suggesting that after her rework, Lily cannot 1v5 defend this.
Well, it looks like
The dinkiest little two-shot turn-in coming out from Do It Right is just enough for them to secure game number 3. And that 2-1 victory in the regular season.
let's see. So that was, oh, I don't know who picked it, but blue team wins that one. So back and forth there. Do It Right winning the first game, and then the third game, Woodley winning the
Nazebo
second.
picked up 175 stacks as the game ended.
Oh.
I didn't see when that came in, unfortunately.
Yep, finished right at 175.
Annihilating Spirit would have been better.
Probably, you know, enough to help them secure those kills at the end, though.
I guarantee you it would have gotten that Lily kill that she just barely survived from.
The earlier one? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the extra speed would have kept up with her.
All right. Well, let's. So I showed the talents. I showed the stats. What do we have here for? Let's take a look at the standings here of where these teams ultimately ended up the season. So Woodley coming in with 26 points. Do It Right with 16 points. We're tied with Calculated Throw and Die for Vision at the end of season 7 here. And so I don't actually know whether Do It Right was 6th, 7th, or 8th. But Woodley did solidify their position as number 2 in Div C East. So actually, now I want to look, because they may have had to play them in round 1. I want to know who won, or who got that. Let's see.
Do It Right has not yet played this round. They play Lubu. Or if they have played,
They haven't.
they haven't reported it yet.
Yeah, so I think they play tonight, maybe? So Wood League played Die for Vision, and
Looks like they got permission to push it back until Monday.
okay. Fair enough. All right. So, you know what? I'm not going to say what happened with the playoff games, because I don't want to throw out any spoilers of what comes up. So I'll leave that out. But
Spoilers
2 to 1
past
today.
events. Thinking emoji.
I mean, they're always past events.
Every event that has ever happened is the past.
Exactly. So a spoiler is always about something in the past.
So what you're saying is there's no such thing as a spoiler unless you can actually either see the future or time travel.
But if you can see the future, wouldn't that equate to a spoiler about the future?
I mean, but if you provide that information to somebody else, then it would truly be a spoiler.
So in a way, even though something is the past for you, if somebody else hasn't experienced that past, isn't it in a way their future? So thus you are the fortune teller of their future, thus creating a spoiler?
I don't know, man. I've had 3 cups of caffeinated beverages, and it's nowhere near enough to have this conversation right now.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? We are done with the casts that cannot be viewed with a CoCaster. We're going to get ready for a cast that can be viewed with a CoCaster. So we're going to wrap up on the C East Wood League and Do It Right with a 2-1 victory to Do It Right. We're going to be back in just a moment. Let's take a look at that schedule again, as we're going to see Division B East, the number 1 seed Heroes of the United States, play against Rush B, the number 8 seed, in this playoff game. So we'll be back in just a few minutes here as we get that all set up.